Cormani McClain went from one of the top prospects in college football to getting benched, getting called out by his coach in front of millions, not watching film, not showing up to meetings, and reportedly hiding in the bathroom to avoid practice, and much more. On the surface, it might just seem like another great talent in the transfer portal like we see all the time, but the story of Cormani McClain at Colorado with Coach Prime is much deeper and darker than that. Disclaimer, this video is not directed as hate towards McClain. As I say with all the players I make videos on, I wish him the best with the rest of his career. This is not your average cookie cutter video because I was actually looking for this full story. I couldn't find it on YouTube, so I'm taking matters into my own hands. If you don't know who I am, I'm Saturday Shenanigans, and I post great college football content all off season. Feel free to subscribe so you never miss out on another upload. Cormani's career already had many shocking twists and turns before he even arrived in Boulder. To fill you in, he was the #1 ranked cornerback in all of college football, 5 stars, .99 according to 24/7 Sports Composite, and the number 13 player in the entire country. He was almost the perfect corner prospect in the class of 2023. He was 6'2", he had the height, he had the lanky arms, and he also had the speed and athleticism that you all want. He had 15 interceptions in his high school career. His senior season, he played at Lakeland High School, and he was a Florida kid. Although things were going great on the field, come to find out later from his high school head coach, it was not all great behind the scenes. We'll get into that later in the video. As you'd expect, he had offers to almost every major school in the country, 57 to be in fact. However, his recruiting trail was extremely rocky and controversial. His character was already being questioned early on in his career. In June of 2022, he scheduled a visit to Georgia, but skipped the trip and had a surprise visit at Miami. However, the entire world still thought he was going to Florida, and in October of 2022, it was his commitment ceremony, but he showed up 15 minutes late. And before cameras could even be turned on for CBS Sports, this was a live televised event. He said he was committing to Miami, and it shocked everyone in the room. And since the cameras didn't get it, they made him recreate it again. And when he was asked about it in an interview, he said, quote, "I just wanted to get this over with," end quote. On December 21st of 2022, National Signing Day, Cormani McClain was supposed to sign his letter of intent with Miami, but it never happened, and the staff thought he overslept. But no, his mom announced on Twitter that the signing was a false alarm and plans were canceled. Just hours later, McClain was in contact with the Colorado Buffaloes and brand new head coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. These were obviously some big red flags for college football fans, and it left everyone confused. And I wish this story ended there, but it gets even worse. In the Under Armour All-American game in January of 2023, coaches were already questioning Cormani's work ethic. He skipped one-on-one drills and didn't attend a walkthrough practice. And then he lied again because that day on national television, he told ESPN2 that he would sign with Miami on January 15th. On January 13th, Miami's recruiting staff went to visit him in Lakeland, Florida, just to find out that he was in Boulder, Colorado. Just 2 days later, Cormani McClain had officially flipped his commitment to the Colorado Buffaloes. This whole recruitment process that I just broke down is extremely weird, but there might be a reason for it. Behind closed doors, it is said that Cormani McClain hates the spotlight and is extremely shy, and he never liked recruiting in the first place. According to his high school coach, Keith Bearfield, quote, "He's a very popular loner. That's his element. He's deathly shy," end quote. Bearfield also said this about the commitment to Colorado, quote, "I told him Deion is the place. That's a place you should go because he can talk to you the way you need to be talked to," end quote. But unfortunately, this talking did not work out. Cormani McClain, supposed to be one of the best freshmen in the country on a Colorado team that didn't have much depth, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So why did he not play in the first 3 games of the season? Well, I'm going to show you this entire interview clip straight from Coach Prime's mouth himself.
Cormani seeing the field was up to Cormani. I wonder if you could elaborate on what you want to see him do, 1, and 2, did he help his case?
Study, prepare.
Study,
prepare, be on time for meetings, show up to the darn meetings. Understand what we're doing as a scheme. Want to play this game, desire to play this game, desire to be the best in this game, at practice, in the film room, and on your own free time. You do know that I check film time. So if I don't see that you would be a fool to put somebody out there and they're unprepared.
Unfortunately, Cormani was just not putting in the work, and this happens a lot with players who are great at the high school level. They go to college expecting something, expecting to play, given that top treatment, but Coach Prime is going to keep it real no matter what. However, this interview stirred up a lot of controversy all over social media. People on McClain's side said, you should transfer, go to a place where you're going to get time, where you will not be thrown under the bus by your coach. Other people were saying this was a great move by Coach Prime, calling him out on the carpet, letting him know, and hopefully motivating him. With all of that going on, he still found a way to reach the field in 2023. He played in 6 games, he racked up a couple tackles here and there, and had 1 pass deflection. But after the season ended, more negative things kept coming out on Cormani's name. According to whistleblowers within the Colorado football program, he was noticeably going 50% on reps in practice. He was hiding in the bathroom to avoid practice, which is just crazy. He wasn't attending class, not watching tape. We already know that straight from Coach Prime, and he had a bad attitude toward the staff. Throughout spring camp of 2024, Cormani was obviously competing for the starting job for the Buffaloes the next season, but things were not really going well. Again, it looked like he was not going to be the starter, so in March, he announced that he would enter the transfer portal during the spring window, starting on April 16th. In a late April press conference where Coach Prime was asked about what he was losing in the transfer portal, indirectly speaking about Cormani McClain, read between the lines, he had this to say.
I wish you guys do a little more homework when you start talking about the portal and understand what we losing. What are we losing? I got time today. What happens with the portal, man, and you guys need to know, a lot of people are fighting for backups. When a guy's a starter and he transfers, you got to really think about that. I mean, is he really that? I don't know how many starters have really transferred around the country.
This proves that he still did not take that next step to gain coaching staff's trust and that he was going to ride the bench. And then there was another social media moment by Cormani McClain that got everyone talking. It was a thank you statement directed toward the University of Colorado for his time there, and he did not thank Coach Prime. He thanked his defensive coordinator, but not Coach Prime himself. So there might have been some animosity on McClain's side, but according to Coach Prime, there wasn't at all. He said, quote, I pray to God that he goes to a program that challenges him as well as holds him accountable and develops him as a young man. Unfortunately, we weren't the program that could accomplish that, end quote. Yet again, accountability is a huge thing with Cormani. We even heard his high school coach open up after he recently hit the portal. This was a longer quote by head coach Keith Bearfield when asked about Cormani entering the portal. He said, quote, I don't want to say I was necessarily surprised. There was a lot of work that I had to do getting him to start doing the right thing. He's a kid that grew up and always got away with things because of how good of an athlete he was. That's why I like Deion for Cormani, because I knew Deion wouldn't kiss his butt, end quote. There are even more people who are not surprised on this whole situation, even students and peers that went to high school with him at Lakeland. They said that Cormani was consistently an ISS, in-school suspension, for his behavior in the classroom. All of these stories obviously hurt the stock of Cormani McClain in the transfer portal. There are teams who do not want to deal with behavioral issues when they're building their program. Fortunately, he is talking with USC right now. Lincoln Riley looking for some defensive depth going into the Big Ten, and also he could go home and play for USF. Now I want to give my 2 cents. I give props to Coach Prime for doing what he did. No matter how talented you are, he is going to hold you accountable. And I know a lot of people say, don't call out your players in front of media. A lot of time it works because it locks them back in. This story is an amazing lesson for any great athlete out there, any great salesman, any YouTuber, does not matter what field you're in. No matter how much talent you have to work to get what's yours. It is not going to be handed to you. The good news for Cormani is that these things are all fixable. If he goes to a staff that he really gels with, if he gets a great mentor, he can fix these things and become that elite player that he's always wanted to be. And I wish him the best of luck. Thank you so much for reaching the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments right now. I've been Saturday Shenanigans, your home for unfiltered college football content, and I'll see you guys soon. Bang.